There are two candidates in this race, Sylvia De Leon Muzi and in the Republican Party, and Joey Prado in the Democratic Party. We'll begin with some opening statements. You each have 1 minute to open. Ms. Muzzy?
Hello, everyone. Again, my name is Sylvia De Leon Muzzy. I'm the Republican nominee for Justice of the Peace, Precinct 1, Place 1. I was born and raised in San Marcos, proud graduate of San Marcos High School and Texas State University. My husband, Philip, and I are raising a beautiful family of 3 girls. Yes, my poor husband is the only male in the household, but he holds his own. Philip and I have deep roots in this community. As for myself, I helped my mother establish a local family business. I worked with the Juvenile Probation Department, worked in our school district, and currently serve as a caseworker for the Justice of the Peace courts. Because of my work experience, I saw an opportunity that a justice has to have an impact on our children, our schools, and our citizens. Thank you.
Ms. Prado, you have 1 minute.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Joanne Prado. I'm the Hayes County Justice of the Peace, Precinct 1, Place 1. I'd like to thank the league for having us here this evening, and I would like to express my sincere gratitude to the people of this community for electing me to serve as Justice of the Peace. It has been an honor for me to serve in this capacity. It's not easy to be the Justice of the Peace, and in comparison to my opponent, I am the person that brings to the table loyalty, dedication, experience, and a proven record. As an elected official, I have complete knowledge and understanding of all the duties and the responsibilities of the Justice of the Peace. I possess the skills necessary to effectively conduct the courtroom procedure, and my 32 years of directly working with the judicial system in a courtroom setting supports my experience. For the past year and a half, and up to about a week ago, I had the responsibility of both the JP-11 and the JP-12 court. I took on the on-call for inquest for the entire precinct. I handled all the filings and all the cases that were filed in the courts for that length of time. The fact that I can handle not only 1, but 2 courts, and I did it efficiently and effectively, ladies and gentlemen, that supports my proven record that I can do this job, and I can do it to the very best of my ability.
Your time is up, I'm sorry. We'll move on to lead questions. First question, what is the most important skill or knowledge a Justice of the Peace needs to be effective? Ms. Muzzy?
The most important skill or knowledge, I would say, is being able to build relationships within the community with the different departments and agencies that the courtroom works with. Working with the Juvenile Probation Department, I was able to see firsthand the many agencies that the department had to work with the juveniles, with the nonprofits, the district attorney's office, as well as higher courts. When it comes to trainings, being educated in the job, working as far as that, my experience working as a caseworker currently in our courts has broadened that perspective, given me the ability to work with our families. And currently, my clients have 80% of Spanish-speaking parents. So being able to relate to those parents in their language, express to them what the judge is saying, how they can help their student succeed is huge. So having that ability to be able to communicate with them and build relationships.
Ms. Prado?
The most important skill or knowledge after doing this for 12 years would be to have first-hand knowledge of what the law is and how it applies to the court. You have to be able to know how to handle the court, how to handle the courtroom procedure, have the skill to effectively and efficiently run the court, be able to keep the court in compliance. All of that is bundled up together, and that's what is required. And you need to have that skill, and you need to be knowledgeable in order to be able to do this job.
Ms. Muzzy, you have 30 seconds to rebut.
I'd like to say also a thank you to the JP12 court staff. They did assist my opponent when she had the courts merged, as well as the other judges in the county that stepped in and took duties from her. I think they deserve gratitude as well. And falling in compliance is the minimum for this court. It's the minimum we also need to exceed for continuous improvement and exceed our expectations. Thank you.
That goes to show how very little she knows about the court system. You cannot run an efficient and effective court without being in compliance.
There is no additional rebuttal. Question number 2. Do justices of the peace need additional training to better serve the public? If so, what kind of training? Ms. Prado?
Yes, education is definitely important. We do have training through the Texas Court Training Center at Texas State. We're required to take 20 hours per year and then 80 hours when we first, are elected. You have to keep up with the legislative changes as they apply. So yes, it's definitely very important to keep up with that.
Ms. Muzzy?
I also agree, training is important. Working through Texas State University as a mother and juggling jobs as well as education, I learned very quickly that we must strive for continuous improvement. My parents instilled that in me, and I want to instill that in my children and take that on into the courtroom. We have to continue to improve and educate ourselves, not only in the law, and that we need to also expand our thinking to reach out to other resources in the community, such as our nonprofits. We need to be able to help our people that are having trouble with drug and alcohol issues, our students that need the counseling for anger management. There's such a wide spectrum. There's so many things to improve on. We can never stay complacent. So that's my drive, my passion is to continue to make this office better each and every year, not only myself, but the staff as well.
Ms. Prado, you have 30 seconds to rebut.
I do send my staff yearly to school, and we get first training on a yearly basis. And I think it's really, like I said, important to keep up with the legislative changes as they apply to this office.
Next lead question. Regarding truancy, how do you maintain the balance between holding parents responsible and being sensitive to the needs of the family? Ms. Muzzy, would you begin with that, please?
That takes building relationships again. Over this past year, I've been able to work closely with the families as a caseworker for the Justice of the Peace Courts of Hays County. And what I have found is that it's very important to get to know that family so that you can come to the core of the issues. Sometimes it's just that child needs a mentor. They need someone positive in their life and maybe different resources. Students can't all thrive in your regular public school setting. Maybe they need to go to somewhere like Gary Job Corps. We have that here in San Marcos, or the GED program. You have to be able to build relationships, get to know these people, take the time, and also learn what else is out there. We have Texas Challenge Academy. So many of my students didn't know families. This is something free for our children, something that they can be proud of. Again, there's so many resources here that I feel are untapped. I've sat with a Hays County Caldwell on alcohol and drug abuse, and the director said, I haven't seen people from this court in over a year, and I don't know why. We have a resource right here in San Marcos for our children and their families. Thank you.
Ms. Prado?
That again goes back to the fact that the reason that they probably have not is because the filings with the truancy are way low with the court. They really are a very small percentage of what we do with the court. The changes in the legislature, I think we probably had 10 cases filed last year in comparison to 300 and something the year before. So the truancy is a very small percentage of what the JP does now.
Ms. Muzzy, you have 30 seconds to rebut.
There were actually 18 cases filed in JP11, and that just doesn't pertain to truancy. You can also use these resources for students that are having other issues. It doesn't have to just be truancy. It can be Class C misdemeanors. You find the student in front of you and you want to do something to improve their life, to improve their family life. You can't just stop at, this is truancy, you have to go to school. You must expand or we're going to lose these children falling through the cracks. Thank you.
Our final lead question. What criteria would you use in setting fines for Class C misdemeanor offenses? Let me say that again if I messed it up. What criteria would you use in setting fines for Class C misdemeanor offenses? Ms. Prado?
The fines are set by the legislature, so I work with that, it's the law. I don't set the fines myself. I do at times reduce them, and also refer someone to community service. And so there's options that and the judge does have discretion when it comes to the fine.
Ms. Murphy?
Again, we can use the fine, but we can also get creative with our community service to best serve that student, that youth, or that person that's in front of you. Community service is fine, but handing them a sheet of paper and saying, go do this community service doesn't stop there. Give them the resources, put together some programs so that child knows, or that person knows exactly where to go, how to complete it, and how to improve our community. It's time for partnership with our churches in the area, with our nonprofits. We need to take more of an active role so that these people can complete their community service, feel good about it, and feel like they contributed. I had one young man that had community service hours. I sent him over to the Lions Club in Buda. He was so proud of the work that he did, and those Lions called and said, Sylvia, that was an awesome student. We want to invite him to be a Leo, which is, a younger lion. And when I told him that, the smile on his face was priceless. It was beautiful. And I encouraged him, keep going. Those are the kinds of things we need to see. We need to see more active roles between our courts and our community. Thank you.
Ms. Prado, you have 30 seconds to rebut.
I think again, I'm kind of baffled with her response, but the court does not, we instill the community service, we also allow credit for the time served. A lot of times they're in jail, but we really don't have any option as far as enforcing a student, especially on a Class C fine, to, maybe, refer them to another program. We just don't do that.
Are there any audience questions for these candidates? So please make your way to the microphone, state your name, and you have 30 seconds to ask your question.
If I could ask the timekeepers to show us the time, because I can't see it.
This is for Muzzy. So voting is a privilege and it's very, very important. How do you expect your Republican counterparts to support you if you have not voted in the last 6 years and 9 in the primary? With that being said, would you like for me to believe that you are true and loyal to the community and really want the best, or is it for a paycheck?
Thank you for that question. But yes, I voted in 2008, 2010, and this year, and I see that there is a need to educate. There's always a need to educate and reach out to the locals, all of our citizens, on the importance of voting. No, not for a paycheck. I have a paycheck currently. This position can bring our courts and our community closer. We don't have to just rule from behind the bench. We can extend an arm out into the community. That can be done in this position. If this doesn't happen for me, I'll still continue to work as a caseworker or work in another position that gives back to the community that has given to me over all these years. Thank you.
Ms. Pryor?
The fact that she's sparingly votes, I just don't understand how someone can expect to get elected and not have exercised her civic duty to vote.
Next audience question. Please state your name.
Naomi Narvaez. My question is for both ladies. As we know, this position is political. It is a Republican and Democrat position. I'd like to know, in each of your platforms, what is the principle that you value the most and that you hold most dearest?
Ms. Prado, would you begin with that too?
The fact that I am fair, I am impartial in all cases that are brought before me in the court.
Ms. Mosey?
You were asking as far as political views, that I would say fiscal responsibility. This job is coming pretty much paying out of the taxpayers' dollars. So having a budget that is fiscally responsible is first and foremost most important to me. Thank you.
Is there another audience question?
Hello, my name is Joe Prado. This is for both of y'all. We've been talking all afternoon about truancy and the school, and I know I have kids of my own that go to school and stuff like that. But what I want to know from both of y'all, what would y'all bring to the table on magistration, on criminals that are behind bars and stuff like that? We've been talking about nothing but, like the school board. But what I want to know is, what do y'all bring to the table with magistration, the court system itself, on how would you take care of all the prisoners or all the people that come in front of you as administration?
Ms. Mosey, would you begin, please?
Thank you for that question. I would say we need to start with consistent bond setting, consistency in that bond setting, so that everyone involved in that process knows exactly that the judge is being fair. Whether it's the person that's in jail, law enforcement, we need to have consistency. It can't be on the discretionary views of that judge. If we can use a tool to help us have that consistency in bond setting, that would help. Also, you said other duties. I think availability is huge. Availability to our citizens and availability to the professionals in the field. If someone has a concern that doesn't have to do with a specific case, they should feel that they can go to the court and sit down and talk to your judge and ask, what resources are in our community? Where can I go? I don't know where to start. If it doesn't have to pertain to a specific case, that should be okay. And when it comes to our professionals in the field, let's say, I'm sorry, thank you.
Ms. Prado?
In the area of magistration, I think I've done maybe over 36,000 magistration. I have extensive experience in the magistration level. Every case is different. There's no such thing as a preset bond. I do consider every case that comes before me, every situation is different, and I take every case as they come before me, and I set a fair and reasonable bond.
We'll take one more audience question. Your name, please.
My name is Jerry. First of all, thank you both ladies for speaking tonight to the community regarding your platform. Justice, and this question is to both, please. Justice of the peace is a position that here as a steward of this community. Can both of you guide the audience in what steps or measures you have demonstrated to provide stewardship, community outreach, or community service throughout this election period?
Ms. Prado?
Well, the fact that I stepped up and I took on the responsibility of the JP-12 court, I did not receive any compensation for that. I agreed to do that. I think that that's giving back to this community. I took on JP-11, I took on JP-12, and I did it for a year and a half. I've been on call for, like I said, the inquest on call 24/7 for over a year and a half. So I don't know if how much more that can be in giving back to this community.
Ms. Mosey?
I think you also have to be able to, as I said again, not just rule from behind the bench, but reach out an arm to extend up to the community. I'm currently a Lions Club member and a Rotarian, as well as working with YSB, Greater San Marcos Youth Council. You have to sit down and build these relationships so that you can network and have those resources for the people that come to your court. You have to be able to know where to send them to get the help that they need or to earn the hours to become a better citizen and do their part. So taking this, you can have your position and also do the extras. And in doing that, you teach your children. I still have young children, so they are seeing this with their own eyes. Yes, you can have a job and still participate in your community and serve others. Thank you.
At this point, we'll move on to closing statements. You each have 30 seconds to close. Ms. Prado, would you begin, please?
In closing, I'd like to express my sincere gratitude for entrusting me with this office. I'd like to leave you with one thought this evening, ladies and gentlemen. When you go to the polls, you must choose. If you choose to vote for loyalty, if you choose to vote for dedication, if you choose to vote for experience, and if you choose to vote for a proven record, then ladies and gentlemen, you're voting for Joanne Prado on November the 8th. Estoy muy agradecida por el apoyo y el soporte de toda la gente en esta ciudad y por favor les pido que voten por Prado el día 8 de noviembre.
Ms. Levy, you have 30 seconds to close.
Gracias a todos por venir esta noche. Thank you everyone for coming out tonight. If given the privilege to serve as your justice of the peace, my priorities are to bring our courts and our community closer together to better serve our children, our schools, and our citizens. San Marcos, I ask for your support and I ask your vote to bring fresh ideas to San Marcos. It's time for a change, a good transformational change to a culture of continuous improvement. If you'd like to learn more about me, please visit sylviamuzzy.com or find us on Facebook at elect Sylvia de Leon Muzzy for JP11. Thank you all. Have a good evening.
Thank you, sir.